the 5 key traits that every psychopath has. Now, I've identified, and it's been generally acknowledged both in clinical studies, in research, and through people's personal experience and testimonies, that psychopaths have about a cluster of, or a constellation of traits of about 30 to 35 traits that they all seem to have to a varying degree. You know, there are things like boredom. They fall asleep. Many of them fall asleep quickly and wake up quickly. Things like that. Their self-righteousness, their grandiosity, their flattery. These things many psychopaths have, but not every psychopath contains all of those 35 traits. In fact, somebody could have those 35 traits and not be a psychopath. Well, in theory, but they probably could be, because we've all done bad things in our lives and things we shouldn't have done. We've all been, jerks, creeps, and at different stages in our lives. But what makes us different from a psychopath is that we'll think back and say, I shouldn't have done that. That wasn't very good, or we'd feel bad for our actions and the people that we've hurt. And that brings me to the first key trait of the psychopath. Trait number 1, no remorse. Every single psychopath, and I'm talking about the full range of psychopaths, from malignant narcissists through sociopath, through borderline personality, through right up to narcissist, and then right up to a full-blown crazy psychopath, extreme psychopath, serial killer. They all have no remorse. What I mean by no remorse is that they don't look back on anything they've ever done in their life with a sense of, I really hurt that person, I feel bad about it. They'll talk about things like karma and stuff, but they're just throwing words out there. They will never say sorry, and if they do say sorry, they'll look down. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, or I'm so sorry, it's a fake. Or they'll say, I'm sorry for what I did to you, in an email or in a text, so you can't actually see they're smirking while they're actually writing down, I'm sorry for what I did. So that's the first one. They're remorseless. The second key trait that all psychopaths have is using pity. They all use pity in some degree or another. First, to ensnare their victims by looking for empathic people, because they think everyone's a sucker or a dummy. So they'll usually start every sort of relationship with a sob story. And they will maintain during the course of the relationship in order to keep it going, almost like pity maintenance. You'll be told little stories that of their things that were done to them when they were growing up, and that's pity. So all psychopaths use pity to get their victims and ensnare them. And but they have no pity for others. The third key trait is invented personas. If you knew a psychopath and you were involved in, married to one, worked with one, employed one, robbed by one, you didn't actually know that person. What you knew was a persona or a facade that was invented to work their targets. You did not fall in love with a human being. You fell in love with an invented persona that was specifically designed to manipulate you. All psychopaths invent personas to work their targets and to get what they want, to keep that target under control. And the persona is a carefully crafted facade of lies and deception and theatre that isn't a real human being in there. That's why a lot of people in the acting profession will often have told me that they've encountered lots of psychopaths, because they're actually learning their personas through the actual craft of acting. But this comes to them naturally as children, so you don't have to bother. The fourth trait is their past. You cannot get to the truth of any psychopath's past. The timelines conflict. There's no photographs of them when they were supposed to be in a certain place at a certain time or married to a certain person. Their resumes don't make sense or they don't add up. And this is how people start to get wise to them, because they all leave a messy trail behind them that eventually catches up with them. This is ultimately why all psychopaths are doomed to failure, because their past is always vague, and you never, and it's all, even if you trust the person, the psychopath, you're always, when you're back in, how come I've never seen a photograph of this person in their 20s or 30s, or how come they said they were doing this when I know they were doing something else, or they'll always say, like, they'll have these weird stories. I was born in this place, I grew up in that place, I lived here for a while. A mixture of different races or different religious and ethnic groups. Their pasts never make any sense, and they'll always deflect from them. Okay, that's that they'll deflect the subject when you try to talk about their pasts. So that's the fourth one. And finally, the fifth one, and this is one that you should really be looking out for. All psychopaths, like the previous four traits, have this trait as well. High levels of the hormone of testosterone. All psychopaths, male psychopaths and female psychopaths, have high levels of testosterone. And that doesn't mean that the females who have high levels of testosterone are butch and manly, and no, it doesn't mean that at all. It means they have things like very good upper body strength, and the testosterone also feeds other things within psychopathic traits, such as the sexual thing and the things like their fearlessness in a lot of situations. So that's the key 5 traits that all psychopaths have. If you know someone that has all these 5 traits, using pity to get what they want, and inventing personas to manipulate people, mysterious past histories that don't make any sense, absolutely no remorse or for their actions and behaviours, and little or no apology or cheap apologies, and high levels of testosterone, you're absolutely 100% without a shadow of a doubt dealing with a psychopath. It doesn't matter if they're male, female, black, white, Chinese, Jewish, Muslim, Catholic, Protestant, atheist. It matters not if they're poor, rich, from any social class, or employed in any profession. If they have the 5 traits, using pity, using fake personas, a mysterious past, no remorse for their actions and the damage they've done, and high levels of testosterone, you are 100% guaranteed beyond a shadow of a doubt that you are dealing with a full-blown psychopath. And the next thing you do is you get the hell away from them. And we'll talk about that in future videos, and I'll also go into detail about the 5 key traits in future videos. Thank you. Bye-bye.